So here's an infant. Do they have moral capacity? Well, to some extent, but not. They're not. They're not accountable. We wouldn't say that they're accountable yet for their actions. It's a right and trust, right? So in the womb, this child possesses dignity and worth, but they don't yet have the capacity to make decisions for themselves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years of age. It's this right and trust that's in development, right? This ability to make decisions. At some point, they choose evil over righteousness, they sin, they fall short of the glory. And so I would argue some people talk about the the age of accountability, and I would say, well, there is a moment of accountability, and it could vary. Maturity could vary depending upon who you're talking about. So this capacity to make decisions, even sinful ones, is a right and trust. So we see this right and trust as it comes into its fruition in adolescence, right, in a young person's life. But then we see also that this human agency and capacity could end prior to their death. What do I mean? I mean that in dementia, in Alzheimer's, in certain psychiatric delusions that elderly people experience, they will say, it's not. I hear these voices, I see these things, and the family will say they're not real, right? And this person might get really upset because to them, perception is reality. And so in medical instances, so I would argue it's wrong to kill a person with dementia. It's wrong to kill a person with Alzheimer's, even if they've lost their mind, right? Even if they've lost their capacity, their ability to make these free decisions, right? Um, they still present, they still have dignity and worth. So again, we see the intersection between ethics and apologetics in certain discussions and things like that. All right. Any question or comment there? Anything you want to add or subtract? Okay. So Warren, and this is Thomas's grandson, Thomas Bart Warren. He's written about the best of all possible worlds. Now, this is an expression that's from Gottfried Wilhelm. I don't think I spelled that right. Leibniz. So a German guy, Gottfried Leibniz, is he's known for postulating that since God is infinite in knowledge and power, he could have created an infinite number of universes. Since the present universe is the one he chose to create, in spite of the evil and suffering that exist, it must be the best, the absolute best of all possible worlds. So that's what Leibniz would say. One characteristic of an ideal world would be for its inhabitants to have absolute free will, the ability to make any and all moral choices. The Bible plainly teaches that mankind has been granted freedom along with the opportunity to choose obedience to the Heavenly Father. Next, an ideal world would be orderly and adhere to natural laws. The same axe blade that is used to chop wood can be used to destroy human life. One cannot expect intercession each time an instrument is used in an instrumentally evil manner. The result would be chaos. In like manner, one cannot expect the creator of this world to act in an irrational way. God cannot make a married bachelor or a round square, just as he cannot make a human with free moral agency choose good actions over bad ones. To do so would be to violate his very nature as well as the laws of the universe. Another characteristic of the ideal world would be one that contained, as phrased by John Hick, an epistemic distance between God and man, meaning that God must be hidden to the extent that man is not coerced or forced to perceive the reality of the creator. Hick contends that God must be knowable only by a mode of knowledge that involves a free personal response on man's part. So let me unpack that for you some. In free will, God can't say, or God won't say, right? Um, God won't say, okay, guns can be only used for moral ends, right? God won't say, well, in every and all instance, a gun can never be used for immoral ends, right? And because in a free world, guns can be used for moral things, right? Here's the farmer who shoots the copperhead that's a threat to his children, right? But that same gun that's used to kill the copperhead could be used to kill another human. Does God say then, therefore, that it can only be used? I'm going to stop bullets. I'm going to stop gunpowder from working. I'm going to start triggers being able to be pulled unless there's a moral end to that, right? We understand in a free world that those things. So it can happen with knives, it can happen with axe blades, it can happen with guns, it can happen with drugs, right? So morphine can be used in a beneficial way. It also can be used to end one's life. Alcohol can be used for a beneficial thing. It can also be used to end one's life. Um, Electricity can be used in a beneficial way. It can also be used to end one's life.